I thought I lost this video. I recorded it for people. I mean, weeks ago. Either way, I found it. That's nice. That made me feel a little better. It's not gone. What I was going to rattle off, I'm reviewing it again, debating on leaving it online. I mean, people still aren't doing what I've asked. So why should I leave it online? What this is essentially a guy babbling about Armageddon and bits and pieces of the Bible. And then I dish up my 2 cents on the matter periodically throughout the video. So I do interrupt it here and there, and I do what I do. But one of the things I was going to rattle off while I was reviewing it, and this I probably will leave online, if you've heard of the Book of Life, I want to say it's a bad pun. That's one way to try to appreciate it. It's really tricky for me to try to dance around these things without telling you what they are outright. And what it relates to has blown me away over the past couple months in particular, because I found some deeper roots related to it. And specifically how it sings to itself. I devised a different technique, and by doing so, I saw deeper roots. Pardon me, I'm choking on a sesame seed. I'm finally going to eat something. Yeah, and when I realized that, it's singing the same fucking song, and it blew me away. And this is what I mean by being told that the Book of Life is the Book of Life. I see it as a bad pun in many ways, because people are gonna hear this just like other expressions, other jargon that's been thrown around, and they're never gonna use it as a tool to see what it actually means. They're never gonna know what it refers to, or how it functions, in that it's a process and it relates to all things. And I could say that, and I know I'm being super fucking vague. I'm obtuse. Because I shouldn't just leave stuff like that online when people aren't doing what I've been asking them to do for 10 years. And what I'm asking people to do isn't hard. You just have to think for yourself. You just have to think about things. And you have to mean well. You have to put your intention behind it. And if you do, you will learn things, because I could teach you things you're not supposed to know. It's not an empty promise, and anyone who's been keeping up already knows that, because I've left things online. The amazing thing is here's the other thing I'm thinking about. So my third iteration of TikTok, I think I have 6 people in there right now. One of them was a person who I thought we respected one another, but this is what happens. And this is me illustrating a point in terms of people hitting a wall. And you probably will. Most of you will at some point, based on what I have to say. Based on, moreover, fuck what I have to say, but the information that I present and how you allow it to resonate with you, or whether or not you systematically reject it, I guess is a better way to think of it. So I left a video on TikTok, and that's the only thing I could think it was that burned that person in particular, because they unfollowed and they blocked my ass. And that's fine. They were shopping around superficial political stuff for the most part. Some of it, what I liked about them, here's what I should say. What I liked about them was they were fired up and they were willing to research. I was hoping they might get past the politics of it, because that's the most superficial, pointless shit you could fucking work with. But they were dancing back and presenting roots. In other words, where some of the political structure horseshit comes from, and casting some light on some of that, which you don't see. People don't usually do that. And so I commended them for doing that, because that's more than most. It is. But because they were capable of doing that, I had respect for them, because that means that they could potentially do that with the things that fucking matter and are deeper roots to reality. But something I said, something I did online rubbed them the wrong way, or they just said, I'm tired of hearing him bitch about things. It could be that too. I've had a lot of people who want answers from me, and because I'm not willing to think for them, they'll unfollow too, or block me or run away. And that happens a lot too. So you never know. It could be just that. Without overthinking it. Yeah, c'est la vie. What the fuck do I know? The Book of Life. I mean, these things are a joke because our masters are laughing at us, but these things are also in place, and I'm talking about the Bible, quite literally the Bible, is in place to teach you things. But that's why it's also been corrupted in a number of ways. And some of the truer elements that you can still work with are things like that have carried over in terms of themes or aspects of the message that haven't been altered. It's one way to think of it. I had another thought I was going to rattle off with some of this, and I'm trying to remember what that was offhand. Crudely enough, it boiled down to... Can I spit this out? I'm trying to force myself to remember, essentially. It had to do with using a single source, but I don't remember my example. The gist was I've had people babble about aspects of just the Bible. Just the Bible, even though there are other quote-unquote religions and what have you, that predate the Bible, and the Bible is modeled after in a number of ways. I mean, in many ways, what people think of as paganism, is where that comes from, crudely speaking. But if you start comparing and contrasting these other angles, not just the Bible, you'll see a bigger picture is my overall point, or the overarching point of that. And I really want to remember what that single example was I had earlier. I don't know. I'm going through too many things with this jazz, and it's hard to remember it all. On that note, if you guys ever start digging up these roots that I've been urging people to work with, you can't remember it all. You can't, or at least I can't. Maybe you will. Maybe you have, eidetic imagery or photographic memory. You never know. Some people supposedly do. Without being that person, it's hard to say whether or not that's real. You know what I mean? Does that really hold water? I don't know. Because I can't speak from experience. Yeah. But it's tricky when you start going through these things. This is why I keep saying take notes. There was something I was working with today, and when it's in a different notebook and you didn't bring that notebook with you and you're on the go and you're trying to piece something together because you see an angle but you don't remember how it was derived. Hopefully that gets that point across. The only way to do that is to go back and find that other notebook, because some of these they're intricate in terms of the picture that you'll end up painting. And even, I still think, even if you paint the entire goddamn thing, I don't think that's possible for one person to do, but assuming it was, without simplifying everything to its, without simplifying it, I don't think you could remember all the angles to be able to understand, to be able to grasp how it's singing to itself. It is intricate in ways that they leave me in awe. The fact that I see some of this in this lifetime, I'm privy to aspects of how reality works. And this is what I want to share with somebody. Not somebody who's not willing to put in the time and do the work. Someone who's not willing to think for themselves. That's what that really means. But someone who is willing to buckle down and sort it out. And it would be fucking amazing. I daydream about that all the goddamn time, and I think that's another thing that drives me. It's kind of nice that's a catalyst for me to continue leaving you guys bits and pieces online. Because you never know. I mean, maybe someday one of you will actually do something with some of this. I mean, I'm impatient. I'm a Pisces. But I really thought somebody years ago would have made some fucking ground with this. But it didn't happen. And that just baffles me. It really does baffle me. I bitch about that far too often. For your sake and mine. But it is relevant. Alright, I'll shut up. What the fuck do I know? And I'm considering posting this other video. This Bible thumping video, crudely speaking. I mean, this guy's going to do some Bible thumping. And they're going to jerk each other off and be like, amen. I don't even think they actually do that so much, but it's kind of like that. It's 20 minutes long is my point. So if you sat through this, you just have to do this twice. For the slow thinkers, the misinformed, and the curious with no attention span.